The freedom that freelancing provides has been huge. And that's something that I would never give up if it was ever a conversation of, well, this other company is interested in hiring you. Ooh, that would be a tough one.
Treading water is the same as drowning to people like you and me. You better start swimming. Welcome to I'm the One podcast. I'm your host, Rob Green.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's podcast. We've got Darrick Anderson here, the owner of a small agency, Puddle Jump.
Well, Puddle Jump is actually what our Amazon product is, but that's the parent company. The DBA is Match Type, actually.
Oh, Match Type. Okay, great. Well, we're here to talk to Derrick about his agency that focuses on Amazon PPC and services a lot of small and medium-sized customers on Amazon. So, Derrick, tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I got started in e-commerce back in 1998. I actually answered an ad in a newspaper that was advertising customer service for an e-commerce company that was starting to provide e-commerce and software download capabilities to software companies. And I thought, well, that's a lot better than some of these other jobs that I'm seeing out there. Fresh out of college, attended a little bit of college, and I thought, well, let's give this a shot. So I jumped in, and it was pre-2000 bubble burst for e-commerce. That was cutting our teeth on everything, inventing everything as we went, and was huge. We went from a little startup with, I think I was the 30th person hired, and we blew up to 2,200 globally. Really rode that wave and had a lot of fun. Cut our teeth on all kinds of different marketing aspects for online e-commerce, and just had a blast. Traveled the world and worked with all kinds of different software publishers, and really got to know e-commerce from an agency perspective. I think at one point I even had like 5,000 clients, right? So you're just in response mode at that point. So, and then that all continued to grow, and it was fantastic. And then the iPad came along, and computer adoption kind of fell through the floor, and software kind of started to slow down. So we started to move with branded manufacturers, and then spent a lot of time with branded manufacturers, just kind of retooling what our thoughts were, because it was still difficult for customers to get the idea that, hey, I can buy a TV online, right? Even by 2009, 2010, you're still not going to a lot of the big names that you would today and feel comfortable buying something. And at the same time, Amazon was starting to grow, right? So then all the customer service, the customer reliability pieces, everything that an e-commerce company should be doing correctly, Amazon was doing, right? You could get your product in 2 days. You could get free shipping, free returns, all these other things. So really cut my teeth on e-commerce starting very early on. And then as the 2010s came along, there was a lot of contraction thanks to the iPad. So I not so happily ended up looking for other opportunities, and that's when I started working for third-party sellers on Amazon, really honing down what I'd done in the past to just PPC management on Amazon specifically. And since then,
how long has that been? About now 4 to 5 years.
I think it's been like 6 or 7, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Since my first clients. And, in that time period, going from the very early stages for a lot of these clients on PPC, I grew with them, and a lot of different ad types were added to Amazon PPC. So a lot of the growth that took place was simply by utilizing the different ad types that Amazon was coming up with and learning to work with those things and see how they worked with the goals of the client and how they meshed. Are we spending too much upper funnel? Are we spending too much lower funnel? And all the other metrics that come along with that. So the freelancing piece of it was purely accidental, and through word of mouth, was able to acquire a good handful of clients that really put me in a far better position than the full-time job was doing for a long time. So I've been enjoying freelancing for quite some time.
I think that's a great transition. I mean, so many people that have jobs, you got the W-2 day, I call it the day job, that don't love the day job. Maybe it's something you liked your day job, but when they get tired of it, I know a lot of guys that make good money and they hate it, but they don't know what to do next. And that transition to being a consultant or a freelancer, and then having now your own agency, essentially, how has that transition been like personally?
Oh, it's been huge. I mean, that's the entrepreneur spirit, right? Is being able to run your own business without the constraints of the 9 to 5, like you said, and then being the freelancer. I really don't have any responsibilities as far as managing employees. I instead have accountability to clients. So instead of having a boss, which is usually what people talk about as well, I don't have a boss anymore. Well, I have like 10 or 15 bosses, really,
Right.
at the end of the day. So the freedom that freelancing provides has been huge. And that's something that I would never give up if it was ever a conversation of, well, this other company is interested in hiring you. Ooh, that would be a tough one.
I mean, that's the positive side of having your own business, right? The difficult side, like you said, is you now have 10 to 15 bosses as opposed to one boss. So you've gone through, I know different customers, they come, they go, they come back sometimes. Talk to me about those challenges of dealing with, business owners as your customer base.
Yeah, so it's actually great to have business owners, because if you compare it to the account management jobs that I've had in the past, where they have goals, they have revenue goals, they have costs that they have to reduce, things like that. You might propose some ideas, you might fly out, have a huge presentation. These days, it's a conversation, and since you're talking to the business owner, decisions can be made almost in that moment. It's pretty rare that they say, "I'm going to go think about it, and then we'll come back." Business owners themselves, for the most part, and are or can be risk takers, and that's a lot of the fun part. That actually has been a huge part of the fun. In terms of what it's like to then have a client leave, which has been pretty rare in my experience. In most cases, the clients have just become enterprise size, and they become acquired by bigger companies that already had established PPC operations in place. So those are the bigger losses that I've had. Otherwise, some of the smaller guys that I've lost, they just decided to do something else, or it just wasn't profitable enough for them, just their own business operations. But yeah, the big guys that I've lost were due to acquisition. They just got so big that they just kind of moved on. So that's been the tough part. Really gaining new clients is going to be the new challenge for now. As you fill up your workload with what's comfortable and with the freedom that you enjoy. I have 3 kids, a wife. My time gets stretched kind of everywhere. So every minute I get to spend with the kids and not think about business is kind of a reward in itself. That's almost a paycheck in itself. But now I've got a little bit of flexibility, and it's time to take a look forward. It's time to understand how to grow this. I'm not getting any younger, and I don't think freelancing is going to just give me the biggest retirement that I could ask for. So it's time to alter the business a little bit, I think.
That's great. One of your former clients actually sold recently. I'm talking to Matthew and Christine, and they sold to a foreign entity that really wanted the brand name because they had the same brand name in another country and couldn't sell in the US because of the brand name and the trademark and the registry. So they got a very strong valuation, in my opinion, happenstance because of the brand name, which I hadn't heard of before. So I just talked to them a week ago.
That's fantastic. They're great people. Talk to them again. Tell them I said hi.
I will, for sure. So let's talk about the business in particular. So you're thinking now the future. Agencies are traditionally difficult to exit because they're reliant, in your case, they're reliant on you, right? You've got systems, you've got processes, but they're reliant on you to do the work, right? Your current business model. How do you think about that from an exit perspective? And then how do you think about what are the challenges around you scaling to be exitable?
Yeah, the biggest part there is because I'm accountable for everything that I do, that any processes I build, I make sure that I have, everything's logged. If, something accidentally happens, I can go back and find out what happened and why. I think that to scale, either that process has to be better defined and maybe driven by software, or I need to start looking for a low-cost tool, which up to this point has been relatively difficult because what do I do then? Do I become the pilot of this other tool, and then do I have to learn all the other tools that can help automate that? And then when I do that, where is the true value add?
Yeah.
Well, in my personal experience with freelancing, it's a lot of the relationships that I've built with business owners. Now, again, does that scale? Well, you can't repeat me over and over again.
Right.
And what is the hiring process of hiring somebody that looks just like me? Not physically, of course, but just, the part that lends itself to a strong relationship with business owners, understanding where they've been, understand how they've gotten to where they're at, understanding their needs, their operations, their pain points, all of those things. How do you replicate that? So that makes scaling kind of difficult. So finding the true value add and then having the courage to implement that along with all the other processes that make my business valuable to my clients. How does that work? It's probably going to have to be software. And up to this point, there just hasn't been a good cost-effective tool that does that. But every day there's something new that comes around the corner. So I'm hopeful that the one I'm sniffing out now might turn into that, and then we'll see.
I think about
so that's kind of the big operations. Yeah.
I mean, that's a journey I think most of us entrepreneurs have gone through, right? A lot of us had W-2 jobs, and then some of us did some consulting or contracting and freelancing, and then now I would call you in the self-employed bucket, right? And then the whole goal for most of us is then to go to the business owner bucket. You want to sit in that seat. And that is a real challenge with all small businesses, but really hard with agencies because, like you said, how do I get the people to offload that can do the same quality of work that I can do? Or is there software I can offload pieces of my business so that I can free myself up to do the critical thinking, the relationship building, the value adds to my customer base?
Right. Yep.
When you think about the current business now, what is the biggest challenge with growing? Let's assume you could solve the software and or the people side of it. What's the challenge to doubling your business right now?
I think the challenge is that I think a lot of entrepreneurs probably have to look, or let's just back up. Let's call it freelancers. Freelancers, especially accidental freelancers that are understanding that you can make that leap, can get very comfortable in the best money that they've ever had. Maybe we didn't set out to be millionaires or, extremely successful business people on any level. We accidentally became very successful with what we're running. How do you then make that transition? How do you have the courage, not even courage, the energy, the motivation? Everything's really comfortable right now.
Yeah.
Everything's great. And if I start investing my own personal time, which by the way is kind of owned by my clients and then my family, if I start investing my time into learning these other tools and they don't work out, well, what's my recourse, right? And there might be some monetary investment there as well. So it's pretty easy to stay comfortable as long as you have all the clients that you have. And I've talked to prospects, I've gained new clients, I've lost clients, but things are still okay. But I can see that things are changing down the road. So it's going to be time to expand and to figure out how to add those new clients. So to answer your question more directly, the sky's the limit for me. I don't even have a website yet, right? Because my bandwidth has been relatively tight. So to gain new clients, to double my clients, just from a numbers perspective, I think even just putting up a website, getting on LinkedIn, making a business entity on LinkedIn, and just getting chatty on there, I bet I could probably land a few clients that way. Would they be the quality of clients that I like and that I've enjoyed over the last 6 years? That remains to be seen. I mean, we would find out there. But
I think you're at a good inflection point. You're at a really good inflection point because now, as you said, the environment is changing. AI over the past year, a little more than a year. Amazon is changing. I think Amazon is getting more and more difficult. Definitely more and more difficult to be profitable, for sure, for everybody I know. Do you go deeper down the rabbit hole of Amazon and provide more services or more clients? Or do you go wider and take the same skills that you've currently utilized and apply them to other platforms? How do you think about that question?
Yeah, that's a tough one because then that fear factor comes up of investment of time, investment of money, and learning something new. At the same time, you've got a good base of understanding of Amazon. I like to think that I know how the algorithm ticks, and I like to inform my clients. One of the things I'll tell other people when I talk about what I do for my clients is I protect them from themselves. That's kind of, I've been down this road with other clients. They've spent thousands of dollars. We don't need the new shiny thing. Trust me, staying steady and on course is going to be best for your brand. And at the end of the day, that lifts all boats, things like that. So a little bit deeper into Amazon could be good. There is a ceiling there, I think, for what I'm capable of. And then looking at other platforms, other e-commerce markets, again, there's that fear factor. Like, maybe I need to start scratching the surface. Maybe that's what the business will ultimately need. But, again, there's enough Amazon customers, I think, for the short term that I think I just need to find them, and then keep my eye on the horizon for other technologies, other marketplaces like TikTok. That's where everything's headed. So
I think a little bit about one easier, call it, I don't know, easy is right the word. One simple thing to add to your service. Recently, I built a custom GPT. It's pretty simple on ChatGPT now. You can train it on your own documents and just train it on my own experience. And it's a Amazon SEO Pro, I call it. So essentially, it will write the listing for you based upon everything I trained it on and your information you already have, plus the competitor's information. It'll analyze your image versus their image. It'll analyze your title versus their title. It'll analyze the bullet points. It will actually produce very quickly a title, bullet points, description, back-end keywords. So we've tested it on our products and it worked very, very well. I tested with another friend of mine and 10 out of 10 improved when he redid his listings using the GPT.
Yeah.
Those kind of tools, I think, are going to be simple add-ons, I guess I'd say, for your business because they're stackable. They help you perform and help the customer perform better. That's how I would think about if you're on the Amazon side of things is how can I add more services or provide more value that nobody else is really doing that stacks on, that improves performance on ads, makes your job easier, right? Better listing, better organic ranking, makes everything easier. I think you might have to go that route to offer more services on that platform. If you're going to go the horizontal route and go to another platform, which I think you should definitely consider, like TikTok shops. We're all trying to figure it out right now. Nobody I know has figured it out, right? I mean, a couple guys are doing pretty well, but it's really a challenge. Our next mastermind is going to be all about TikTok shops. We're all trying to figure this out. The volume is insane. It's skyrocketing. It's going up like every day. I can't believe how fast the platform is growing. One aspect of that I learned about recently is this TikTok surfing. Basically, the algorithm has really good ads attribution, has good ads focused on where they want to send the ads and who they want to show them to, targeting. And what the problem, though, is it's a black box. So people are restarting at like a small budget at the beginning of the day, all their campaigns, seeing which perform and then doubling and then doubling and then doubling and then not adding to the budget. And they're doing it every day manually right now. There's got to be a solution for that. There's a lot of that's a really big unknown. And nobody I know knows really how to do that yet. That feels like a big blue ocean for you to consider and take what you know now and apply that to TikTok shops.
Yeah. So what would you recommend the starting point be for somebody like me exploring a new platform like that? Is it having a product to go and sell on there? Because I do have a product. It just doesn't sell very well. What's the best way to get into that?
So what I've done is I just dive in with both feet when I do something like this. So I have subscribed to every single YouTube channel that talks about TikTok shops. I joined a small Discord group. I got a few of my friends fired up about it. They talked to a few other friends. I got a call every Wednesday at 2:00 with a few guys about it now. I started a small Facebook group about TikTok shops. Just so I could aggregate everybody's learning. So I've got like 15 friends in there. And what I've learned over the years, especially with Amazon and e-commerce, is that I'm never going to be as smart as the group is. So how do I add value to everybody else? And we all add together. That's the whole concept of our mastermind. And it's been tremendously successful. So how do I keep adding value How do other people, and I don't want everybody in it. I want people that want to add value. I want people that share, right? So how do we all kind of learn together and grow? That's the focus point for me. And so I just dive in. So we're selling some products on there. For you, if you have a product that doesn't sell well, I would ask one of your customers, say, hey, listen, you're not doing shit on TikTok shops. I'll start it for you. Why not? Learn the process, get it dialed in, and just start doing it, right? And so hey, I'll do it for free. Let's learn. Let's try to figure this out.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I actually just thought of somebody that I can reach out to.
Perfect. And then what I did is I went even deeper and started, this is where I get a little OCD about it, but I started looking at, I just try to reverse engineer. I think to myself, okay, who's already done this well? Well, TikTok Shops is new to the US, but not to Asia. So they've had it in China, they've had it in Thailand and Vietnam and Malaysia. So I started looking over there for software. And I started finding software they were utilizing to identify opportunities on TikTok Shops. So then I've been testing all their software. I reached out to a guy that works at one of the software companies based out of Taiwan. We had a call. I'm trying to reach out to people that work at TikTok in the US to try to build relationships there. I'm trying to go at all different angles to learn and really understand it because I feel like this is a huge inflection point. I mean, there are people doing $1 million a week on US TikTok Shops. And it's 3.5 months old.
Wow.
It's crazy. I've never seen anything this fast. And there's, by no means is it perfect. Tons of challenges. They deactivate accounts and deactivate listings. There's no support. I mean, there's all sorts of problems with it. But again, if it was super easy, it wouldn't be that great of an opportunity, in my opinion.
Right.
If it was just easy and everyone could do it and it would work great, then what's the value add, right? Navigating these unwritten rules in this difficult gray area is where value opportunities lie.
Right.
So I like when
that's great advice. Yeah. And us freelancers, we like difficulty to a point, I suppose. But getting to that next level, building up that courage, it's great to have kind of, I don't want to say that you guys have entirely blazed the trail, but a lot of your processes and a lot of your ideas for just expanding or getting to understand new opportunities definitely lends itself to this. So joining the groups, creating groups if they don't already exist, reaching out to former customers, existing customers that are small enough and willing to take a chance. Like I already mentioned, since I work with business owners directly, it's probably not going to be a week-long conversation. It'll probably be a pretty quick decision.
I know some of your customers. I know some of your customers, and they literally have said, "I don't have anybody on my team to do this."
Right.
So they're not doing you a favor. You're doing them a favor.
Right.
And so you're providing more value. I mean, I think that's the underarching belief for me for any business is how do I create more value for my customer, right? And for you, absolutely. I think this is the easiest one. This is by far, no one knows how to do it. I mean, maybe in 3 weeks, a bunch of us will know how to do it. But right now, we're all struggling to get our feet underneath us, right? And so I think that you're at an interesting inflection point for the business to figure out, do I go deeper? Do I go wider? Do I stay in my lane and just add more customers? I think that's the challenge for all of us business owners is where do we put best use of our time? I mean, you've got kids, you've got a wife, the family has a pull on your time, right? And you've got to be judicious about how you invest your time and your money and what's that ROI. The reality, unfortunately, is that we never know which path is the right path until after you go through it and time shows us what the right path was. So I think you have to have a little bit of a leap of faith on that in terms of analyze it, do the research, figure out what your customers want, go down that path for sure, and then be quick to pivot or iterate if that's not the right way to go.
Right. Absolutely.
Because I'm going to challenge you on one thing you said earlier about the I don't know if you use the word fear or not, but the concern around investing the time or the money on it. To me, the bigger scary part is if I don't do this, my fear is I can't add value in the future as AI takes on more and more and more of what we do. So like the only option is to grow and make more money because I don't want to be when the bifurcation kind of happens, I don't want to be on the wrong side of the bifurcation of the economy. I want to be in a situation that's what scares me more than anything else.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
I think,
that's where the investment comes in.
yeah, exactly. Can you afford not to?
You
That's
can't.
the question. Right. Right.
I don't think you can. And not you in particular. I think all of us. I push my kids pretty hard, and I keep telling them that. I'm like, listen, you've got a great life now. In today's society, you could add value as you go through school and you finish high school and finish college. But we don't know. 7, 8 years from now, I have no idea what the world's going to look like.
Yeah.
And so how do you consistently add value? And how do you think about finding ways and opportunities? And what are those big, one of my friends, Mike, had said this. He said, I just look for the biggest pain points. Then I hire the smartest people in the world to solve those problems. I was like, that sounds really fucking easy. If you had, I don't have that.
Sounds super easy.
I like simple. It's not easy, but simple. But I think continuously asking yourself what those problems are and then how do you solve them, I think would be the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So now I like to leave everybody with action steps. So I'm going to challenge you a little bit. You got a lot of options. Let's hone in on some actions you can take now. So the next time you and I chat, you can double your business.
Well, I think investigating a bit, I think the biggest payoff that we talk about, the biggest payoff would be getting to understand TikTok, right? Getting to understand that and working with a client, getting a client to go on there with me and cutting my teeth, understanding what it's all about, and then understanding how to fix some of the pain points for some of my existing clients and maybe offering that out. So I think step one is contacting somebody that's willing to go down that journey, entering into that idea, and just getting to work on that, getting to understand all of TikTok, which I barely scratched the surface of. I think I watched 2 videos of so far. So
okay,
getting to understand.
I'm going to help. I've known you for a while. I'm going to help you with this. Step 1, download TikTok on your phone.
That's done.
Okay. Step 2, you're going to reach out to at least 3 clients today and say, hey, I've committed time and energy and I'm going to learn TikTok shops. Are you currently on TikTok shops? If not, I would like to take this on for you as a trial basis for free.
Okay.
And then commit time each day to learning TikTok shops. And I'll send you an invite for the Facebook group. And then you can learn it's really just a couple of us that are really posting regularly. But there's definitely information in there.
Okay. That's great. Thank you.
Yep, of course. I think that's the way to go. Those are the action steps that'll lead you down that path. And then give it 1 month. And if 1 month you're like, hey, listen, this sucks. I don't get it. It's not for me. I don't want to do it. Move off of it.
Yeah.
But be quick, but commit to it and then work on it. And if it doesn't work, pivot quickly. But I think, I sent you a message a little while ago about this. I really believe this is, I have never seen anything like this in the 12 years I've been doing e-commerce.
Wow.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing like it, man. So that's my recommendation. Anything you want to leave, any best advice you'd give for people, and it can be around the emotional, the psychological, or the logical side of it, for people that are in the job or they're freelancers and they want to do their own thing. Any advice for people that are on their way to making that transition?
Yeah, it identify what it is that you're good at so that you can add value continuously. And if you can find a customer base that's willing to pay for that, then absolutely give it a shot. I think I've heard many entrepreneurs in the past, and even just freelancers in general, always try to freelance. Everybody should do it at least one point in their life so that they can understand what it's like to run your own business, very low cost, of course, and just see if that's the springboard that will bring you up to the next level. It's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. And again, it was purely accidental. But it's really brought me to a place that I didn't think I was going to end up in. So yeah, have the courage to give it a shot. Find out what you're good at, find a customer base, add value, and give it a shot.
I love it. Thanks, Derrick. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Always great talking to you.
Good to see
you. We'll do it again.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with friends. Visit I'mTheOne.com and ask me anything. And as always, stay curious and never stop becoming the one.